So what are the documents that you should inspect? First, of course, are the Articles of Association. As mentioned, these are the company's rulebook, and they tell you how the shares can be transferred and what approvals are needed. Make sure to pay close attention to any bespoke provisions around share transfers and preemption rights. If the company complied with its publishing requirements, then these should be accessible via the company's house profile. Second will be the shareholders agreement. So not every company has one, but if it exists, you must review it. It often contains additional restrictions on share transfers, drag-along rights, and non-complete obligations. This is especially important because, for example, it might be that there are multiple shareholders of the company. One of them, for example, is a minority shareholder, only has, let's say, 1% and intends on staying in the company. And as part of compliance with the shareholders agreement, a new shareholder, yourself as the buyer, needs to sign a deed of adherence, meaning a short document that says, I will adhere to this existing shareholders agreement. So effectively, when you're entering into the share purchase agreement to buy the shares, you're also entering into the shareholders agreement via the deed of adherence. And that means that you're going to be expected to adhere with the shareholders agreement and whatever its provisions state. So you'll want to make sure that you are aware of those provisions of which you're going to be expected to adhere to. And lastly, you'll want to review the internal statutory registers, which include the register of members, directors and secretaries, and the people with significant control. Of course, in this case, the register of members is one of the main ones we'll want to inspect, and this is effectively a document that lists the existing shareholders of the company, how many shares they own, and which kind of share they own. So this is going to be a very important record to understand, okay, who are all the shareholders, who are going to be all the sellers in this transaction, and what are the share classes? Are there any share classes that I was not aware of, or any minority shareholders that I've yet to meet? As a bonus, make sure to also check that the sellers have their share certificates. Share certificates are the evidence of ownership of shares. Check that these details on each of the certificates match the register of members that you just checked. If anything is missing, these sellers should provide you with an indemnity to cover you. And that is how you conduct corporate due diligence when it comes to buying a business. Now, what happens if these sellers do not have their corporate records in order? This is actually quite common, especially with smaller companies. Your solicitor will need to work with the sellers and the sellers' solicitors to either tidy things up before completion or put in place indemnities to cover you as a buyer.